Okay, we're back again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Gee, next episode, we're here again. This is a big one, guys.
Let's do it.
This is massive. This is real teacher talk to the core.
Okay.
Guys, before I go ahead, remember, please, as usual, support the challenge, support the channel, hit the like, subscribe, smash the notification bell, guys, if you like the video. Thank you. Guys.
That was real TV. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Guys, but honestly, this is very important. I'm talking about strike action. Strike action for teachers, which very close to our hearts in terms of like, it's happened already. It's started already. We've seen strike action happening in the center of London where teachers are striking because of poor pay and conditions. Now, I want to really talk about what the problems are with regards to why teachers are striking, and then maybe we can pose some solutions to it.
Yeah.
So, guys, what are the problems?
You want to start, AB?
Yeah. So, I think yes, we do need to strike because we're just not happy, and the reason why we're not happy is like you said, our pay, our working conditions. If we were able to just teach, I think we'll get a lot more happier staff. But then I think if we're paid for what we're actually doing, because remember, a lot of people think a teacher's job starts at 8:30 and finishes when the bell rings. Nah, we're continuing. As the kids go home, 3:15, 4 o'clock, there's there. I know some teachers still in the school building until 6.
That one right there.
Yeah, and then
Facts.
Well, a lot of people forget that, we give out homework, we give out test papers. It's us that's marking it. We don't have a team to market. We're marking it in our own times, in our family times, in any free period we have. So our work never stops. You know what I mean? So I think we're the one profession that works around the clock. You know what I mean? And also, we're the only profession whose pay hasn't increased in over like 60 years. And I think the last increase you got was what, 3%? Yeah, so it's not much. While every other career, every other workforce, they're generating and making the biggest payment or standpoint.
I mean, 100% agree, to be honest. I mean, I do know, there are obviously, as we know, there are other public sector workers that are also suffering, like nurses and so on.
Yeah, them as well.
I mean, they do as well. I mean, but we are definitely lagging way behind society, especially with the importance of the job and what we have. I mean, look, we are teaching the next generation. They're the leaders and the workers of the future. Now, that's our job, to teach them. And for me, if we're not looked after with regards to just being able to, and we touched on it before, being able to sustain ourselves in terms of living costs in a city, that the rent is through the roof and the food now, petrol prices, everything is through the roof, yet our pay is not keeping up with it. Nowhere near keeping up with it.
Nowhere near.
Right? Then what are we supposed to do?
Exactly.
Brother, you know what it is now, because we touched on this in previous episodes, expectation. We are expected to deliver consistently. We are expected to deliver with the same tenacity, the same velocity, the same energy, right? Forgetting, AB, that we're humans,
Yeah.
Forgetting that we're humans. We can have bad days just like kids can have bad days.
That's right.
Striking for me is important because it allows people to understand why we are so fed up. It makes people understand that, you know what? Yeah, your expectation, we meet it, but you're not meeting it as well.
At all.
It's a two-way street. You cannot expect me to do everything you want me to do, yet you sit back and eat chips. You must be mad.
It's a one-sided relationship, like you said.
Facts, bro.
And
facts.
A lot of people forget some teachers work a second job because, like you said, the pay isn't keeping up with our surroundings. It's not keeping up with the rent, the mortgage, whatever. It's not keeping up with the price of food.
Most have got a second job.
Yeah.
Most have got a second job.
But you know what though? Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I think the way we strike, it needs to evolve.
Yeah.
The way we strike, we've been doing the same thing. Okay, we're just not going into work.
Yeah.
But then you still got teachers setting cover work. So technically you're working, but you're working from home. You still got teachers that are deciding, okay, I'm not gonna go into work, but I'll bring my mark in. So technically you're still working.
Yeah.
Right? There needs to be a mentality shift. And you know what? I read this story and I love this story, right? I think it was in Japan. Right? But it was definitely in like a Far East Asian country. Bus drivers, they were striking about their pay.
Yeah.
So all of the bus drivers went to work, you know. They all went to work, bruv. Yeah, they got on their buses.
Yeah.
They drove around, didn't pick up anyone.
Wow, that's interesting.
They didn't pick up anyone, bruv. They just drove right past the bus stop.
That's
Yeah. But when I tell you, yeah, the whole of the country was late for work.
good. And
The whole of the country was late for work, bruv.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. People had to carpool.
Yeah.
People had to walk mileage to go to work, right? And all the bus drivers did, they just drove around. Brother, by the end of the day, yeah, the bus company was like, here, take it.
yeah.
Whatever you want, take it. By the end of the day,
And do
bro,
you know why that worked? Because they all were on it together. They were all in it together.
Facts.
I feel like you said, some teachers will, like, I remember when I was like in year 6 or whatever, and then there was a teacher strike.
Yeah.
And I had to be that one child with the teacher that didn't want to strike, so I had to come into school. I remember, I'll blast his name, you know, but I said,
that good one.
that one teacher,
good one.
me and class 5C, that's what I remember. Yeah, but like, and that's the thing, a lot of teachers aren't on the same page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's either due to ignorance or, I don't know, they might have a personal deal.
Nah, but you know what it is though? Remember, yeah, there are how many unions?
Okay.
And not every, like, it's not like we're all in the same union.
Yeah.
They don't agree
So
sometimes.
They don't agree sometimes. So union 1, 2, and 3 may strike, but then union 4, 5, and 6 won't. If you're in union 4, 5, and 6, you gotta go to work.
Yeah, it's true.
You gotta go to work. So it's even deeper than just teachers.
is.
Unions have
change.
to come together.
Yeah.
And have to say, do you know what? 1, 2, and 3 striking because of such and such. 4, 5, and 6, back me up. Where's the alias?
Yeah.
Where's the alias?
I mean, the short is massive in teaching. People don't want to come in the profession, and the training spaces for teachers is decline, as in like the spaces, the recruitment has declined over the
Yep.
years. They're not coming into it
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
because they already know, they've heard how difficult the job is.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a surprise, and it's not like it's a secret that the job is really hard. So the powers that be should know that there's something wrong. There's something wrong because the job is too difficult and it doesn't fit around the lifestyle of people. People can't live on it, basically.
Yeah.
It's not enough to say we want to help children and help them, learn and have knowledge. It's not enough anymore.
Yeah.
Funny enough, you said that because there was a story, and he was a teacher, young teacher,
Yeah.
and he left his job to work at, this in America, work at like Target or one of those shops.
Yes.
And the reason why he left is because he's getting 12 grand more than what he is paying as a teacher.
You see?
And I even saw the photo. He's holding it up like he's got
Yeah.
signed for like
Wow.
full
That's
team,
a certificate.
everything.
Bro,
you know.
people are leaving the teaching game here. Yeah.
Yeah.
To go and work in office job.
That's right.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're not even getting paid more. They're getting paid the same amount
Or less.
or less.
Or
right?
less.
But the work that they have to do
Yeah.
is like 80% less than
Yeah.
a teacher.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 But have more time. They're not even going into office.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, they're working from home.
From home.
Yeah.
They're
That's
working
true.
from home.
That's true.
So now you don't have to worry about babysitting.
Flexibility.
Do you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
flexible with your hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can log off and log on anytime you want to, just as long as you get that work done for the day.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying to you? For the day, right? So it's easier. It's more accessible for them,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of teachers, they're striking because the work isn't accessible. The job isn't accessible
No, it's not anymore.
It's not
And
accessible
our lives
anymore.
have become, there's a need for flexibility now
Of course.
in our
Yes.
lives.
Yeah.
More than
Facts.
ever.
Facts, bro.
Yeah.
Facts.
More than ever. And I'll be honest with you, we're at a crisis point in education. I feel it. I feel like unless we get this right and unless we all agree, all unions, everyone, and strike, and I believe strike action is so important.
100%.
But it has to be strong message. Now, do you see how the train drivers, the
Yeah.
unions recently have come and agree, how they're striking,
Yeah.
and they're not taking anything. They're saying, look, we're striking. We know people need to get to work, but this is more important for our train drivers.
Yeah.
And they're sticking by them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like even for us, it's very disjointed.
Because the train drivers, they're being selfish in a positive way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we're striking,
Yeah.
we're still thinking of the kids.
All the time.
That's true. We
We're
got
still
guilt.
thinking of
We
it.
Yeah.
feel guilty.
We're suffering.
Yeah.
We're suffering physically,
Yeah.
financially, emotionally,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Right? but then we're suffering for the kids.
And the powers that be using that guilt.
Yeah,
Right.
because they know we can't turn it off.
Right, because it comes back to
Because they'll be like,
expectation.
oh, but what about the children? Well, to be honest, yes, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
exactly.
We're teachers because we care about the children,
Yeah.
but you're not caring about us.
Do you know what? Yeah, this is gonna sound mad, but I think it shouldn't just be teachers that strike. I think students should strike as well.
Yeah,
That's an interesting one.
And I say that I would never have said that before I heard about the story in Pimlico.
yeah, that came to mind. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I never would have said that
Yeah.
until the story in Pimlico when the students were striking. Now, my thing is this now, yeah? As a collective, as a school collective, right? Everybody's in the school. We as a teacher is 50%. If I don't have students, I don't get work.
that's it.
Yeah? But students, if you don't have me, you don't learn. So it's a collective, right? So if the students aren't happy with their learning, why can't they do the adult thing and strike as well? Because the teachers as adults, we're not happy, so we strike. Just as much as we have unions, and yes, unions need to actually unify. So do what your name tells you.
Yeah,
And you know,
Your name tells you.
and you know, like
Right.
when they were striking, a lot of children were striking because for the environment. Do you remember when Greta
Yeah.
started this
Greta
movement?
started the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout
Well,
out Greta.
Yeah, and
sponsor us.
and it's true. And you know that started this whole movement of a lot of children and the young people were like on marches, right?
Yeah.
But you know why though? Because I think she was what, about 14ish at the time, around the age of 14ish, and then students started to realize, like we also have something to say at that young age.
Yes,
And
a voice.
she's a voice,
Yeah.
and she's going off to parliaments in this country, that country, rare tear tear. Why can't we do the same? So the kids had a role model.
Yeah.
They had a role model, and we as teachers are their role model.
Yes.
But our striking, I don't think it gets through to the kids
At all.
as that role model yet, which is why I say we need to kind of change it a piece. I don't think it gets through to them as much. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah. No,
Do you know what I mean?
most strikes are we'll strike on the Tuesday from this time to this time, and then Wednesday we'll come back to work. Like that's what our striking is.
Yeah.
If you really want to send a message,
Yeah.
we won't come to work at all until our points 1, 2, and 3
Yeah.
are even discussed. Because sometimes I feel like we strike and nothing's discussed.
Yeah.
Nothing's moved forward.
Or like
made
sometimes
that
strike
point.
at a wrong time, like for example on a Saturday. Like where I mean, look, I'm not saying I'm
Man said on the weekend.
on a non-working day.
no, because you're doing it on a time which doesn't really have the effect.
Yeah.
You need to have an effect. When you're striking, you need the full effect.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, but I do believe, look, if you're going to do something, you do it properly.
Yeah.
So if you're going to strike properly, yes, it might mean that the students, don't get the lessons on that particular day, but we're looking at the long-term good. The longer term good for the short term pain, not pain really,
That's
but
it,
really
yeah.
for the longer term greatness of
Yes.
education, right?
Facts.
That's it.
And you know what? You mentioned a great point, yeah? Is that we tell you we're going to strike Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday. Brother, let me tell you something. If you really want to disrupt the system, you don't tell them that.
Exactly. Yeah.
The unions come together, make your plans, send your emails out because you like to do that, right? And then that's it done, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then it comes to Tuesday now, and suddenly you ain't got no more staff.
You
There
know
you go.
what?
Where's
I'll
your
be
staff
honest.
gone?
Don't get us wrong, or even teachers wrong. Nobody wants to strike.
That's it. Yeah.
Nobody wants to strike.
It's not about the wanting to strike.
Yeah.
It's about
This is what I'm saying. We don't want to strike. Nobody does. In fact, we'd rather be in a classroom and then teaching. But we're actually at the point now, and I believe it's known, that we're being forced to take action.
Facts.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
Facts.
action is needed right now.
Facts. Bro.
Because if it doesn't happen now and we don't change things and we don't get the negotiated conditions and pay, then education is going to get worse, and teachers are not going to come into this at all, and we're not going to get the caliber of teachers coming into it.
Teachers are dropping off to the point that they're asking old veterans or old retired teachers to come back in, because just from that that something's going
There's
wrong.
a problem.
Yeah,
There's a problem.
But I don't know if it's either pride or stubbornness. You need to assess the situation and be like, okay, what can we do
Yeah.
to solve this problem?
And this is a side curriculum being outdated. That's another whole.
That's a whole
Hey,
don't
other
get me.
issue.
That's episode 22.
Trust me.
And we're going.
That one, I'll come with the board and the books. Trust me
Listen
now.
to episode 16 to 22.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a
Listen,
lot to dissect.
Listen,
there.
that one, education is broken. The curriculum is broken. We're coming up.
So
we're
much.
gonna go to
Facts.
that on another episode.
Yeah.
But let's just talk solely about the striking action now. Coming back to this.
Yeah.
It's necessary right now. And I believe if we don't change things soon, education as we know it is finished. I'm putting it out there. Education is finished. And you know what? Our children, we got kids. It's a sad state of affairs when I'm seeing my child in primary school, let's say, who's had 4 or 5 different primary in his year group, in year 3.
Wow.
He's had 4 or 5 different primary school teachers cover different supply. There's no consistency. They're leaving.
But the supply teachers are becoming full teachers.
Full-time teachers, yeah.
Not by choice.
No.
Because they cannot get the staff. So it's like, just work for the month.
That just reminded me of a story of when I was a teacher and it was parents' evening. And, you know, I was discussing with this, you know, dad about, you know, how your son can improve this and that.
Yeah.
And then the dad turned around and told me, he said, don't leave. And I was like, what? He says, no. He said, because then even another teacher came to talk to me. He was like, yeah, because this child, he was a very special child. Like, not special, but like, we could see that he can go somewhere. Yeah. But he was just very distracted. Potential. Yeah, potential. But then the dad was like, he said, this is the first time like a teacher actually cared.
And stayed.
But I felt so bad because I already had a job lined up already. Yeah. And I knew that I was leaving already.
But how mad is that? Yeah. That parent had to say, this is a teacher that cared. Like, let's just hold on to that for a piece.
That's true.
This is a teacher that cared, bro.
Yeah.
So in my mind, right, what's that saying to me, yeah, is that this dad has only ever experienced teachers that are just run of the mill.
Yeah.
They're there for the pennies.
And that's it.
I can't even say paycheck, bro. They're there for the pennies. Do you know what's there?
And
like, that's a mad statement, you know?
He told me I was his 6th teacher in that 1 year.
You see that?
Mad.
And then even when I left,
in that 1 year,
yeah. And then I called my friend. I was like, "Oh, how's it going?" He said, "Yeah, you know the teacher they got to replace you. He left at lunchtime."
Wow.
Yeah. So
mad.
I left. I don't know. Next new and I left halfway through the year, and then it was the Easter break, and then he came in. Then teacher walked out. He said, "I can't do this," and then boom.
So the teacher left at lunchtime because they can't do it.
Yeah,
that's what they said.
Yeah.
So teachers can't do it. Are not dealing with it. Yeah. They're not being treated well to stay. This is the problem. So we're moving, and some teachers are hopping to different schools to try and find the one that might work for them.
Yeah.
And then what's happening is that kids are suffering as well. They've got 6 or 7 teachers in the year. There's no consistency anywhere.
None. And you see that consistent when there isn't any consistency as a child, their thing is this, well, what's the point? You ain't gonna be here for long anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why should I bother?
Do you know what? And sometimes I get that as well. Like when I come into a school and then the students are looking, they're gonna be here for like 6-5 months. So I'm not gonna bother.
Brother, I remember when I did my NQT. When I did my NQT at a school, right, it was known for teachers leaving. Known.
Wow.
So I've come into that now, my first lesson now, and I've got year 8's my first lesson.
Yeah.
And one kid was like, "Oh, what's your name?" So I told him my name now. And he goes, "All right then." I said, "What do you mean all right?" He goes, "Well, I'm not gonna see you tomorrow." I said, "How do you know that? It's only Monday." He went, "Yeah, but teachers leave all the time, so why do I expect you to be here tomorrow?"
You see that?
And you know,
and I looked at that child, and I said, "Watch, I'll see you tomorrow."
Yeah.
So I come in tomorrow now, and I made sure he was the first kid that I saw. I said, "Yo, I'm here, you know." And he was like, "Oh, I'll give you to the end of the week. If I come next week," I said, "Yo, I'm still here." And he was like, "Do you know what, sir? We can talk now."
Wow.
And it was only because I was there for that week. Yeah. It was only because I was there for that week that it started to bring a bit of belief into them.
Yeah.
Started to bring a bit of belief into them. Now I was only there for the year because they cut me because there was too many staff in the department. So obviously last one in, first one out. Do you know what I'm saying? I had kids crying like, "Oh, we don't want you to go. You've taught me so much, this, that, and the third." And I'm saying to myself, do you know what? It's not up to me. And a lot of the time, it's not up to the teacher. It's up to the infrastructure. It's up to the infrastructure. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
And that's the thing.
That's what it comes down to, the striking.
Yeah.
We're striking because the infrastructure isn't solid. You're trying to build houses on sand. You know the ones there, cuz you're trying to not even that, fam. You're trying to build houses on water. There's no foundation. And that's why we're doing this striking, because the infrastructure is not structured.
It's flimsy.
I think it's clear that the shift has turned from like a teaching lessons, knowledge based kind of thing and it switched to very data driven, very target driven, very, progress driven, business like system, which doesn't work with a way of imparting knowledge, because business and imparting knowledge, those things don't work together.
No, they don't.
They don't actually fit together.
They don't.
And then when you put in the mix of trying to get cheap labor and then trying to give you some poor conditions, when you put all that in the mix, you've got a disaster there.
Trust me.
It's a disaster right now. And they don't know how big it is. And I feel like it's getting worse. And you've hit something. We're like parents. We see the kids probably more than parents do.
Yeah.
So that broken homes sometimes can affect children.
Facts.
Broken schools, broken classes, when they don't have a consistent teacher, like they don't have a consistent parent, also can break a child.
Facts.
And break trust. So my thing is this: if you want to have healthy, knowledgeable, trusting, young people who are going to grow and become leaders, workers, entrepreneurs, then you need to fix the system.
Facts, bro. Do you know what? You're right, Think about it like this, bruv. Imagine the kid wakes up in a broken home.
Yeah.
Goes to a broken school. And then back to the broken home. And you expect the kid to be wholesome within 5 years.
You can't.
It's not going to work.
Never.
It's not going to work.
No.
Because all that kid, for that 5 years, all that kid knows, right, is how to be broken. So now, that's that kid's normality. Being broken is that kid's normality. So any goodness that the kid then receives, he's not having it.
He's not having it.
Because it doesn't tie into his normality.
Exactly.
So at least if the school was wholesome and was a safe space for that child, that kid would understand, you know what? My home life is not the best, because this is what life should be like.
Yes.
So we have a responsibility, not even as teachers. I'm talking about the school system, the education system has a responsibility to bring that wholesomeness to the child. Because if we don't bring that wholesomeness to the child now, you're not developing children that are even going to tap into their potential.
100%.
You were saying about the kid at the parents' evening that has potential.
Yeah.
He will never reach that potential if everything was broken.
Because I knew that kid from year 7 up to, no, that's a lie, year 8 when I had them, up to year 10 when I left. And I was his consistent teacher up until that point. But like I said, the school system's not built for high retention. You know what I mean? Because basically all our job is to help them be good exam takers. Because you said something about we don't have the time to teach them and give them knowledge. Even if you look at the curriculum now, it's not about knowledge base. It's just about how well you can do this exam.
Do you remember the information to write on the paper?
Do you remember
that's all it is.
And if you do, you go to the next level.
So there's a lot to be addressed.
So many.
And to be honest, come back to the title of the episode. Yes, it's absolutely necessary, and in fact, it's urgent. Striking is urgent because we're actually thinking about the children.
Facts.
That's what we're thinking about. Because if we're gonna have wholesome, not broken students who have 10 different teachers in a year at least, then we need to fix it so that teachers don't leave. And this is the way to do it. And I believe that's the only way to do it. It's a shame, a real shame, but I don't see another solution.
100%. And don't think just because we're talking about striking, it means just throw more money at them.
Exactly.
It's not just like, brother, I'm not gonna lie, if you're gonna give me an extra 10 grand, give me an extra 10 grand. That's nice. But I'm not sitting in pig filth. You know what I'm saying? Trying to teach graphics with half the keyboard.
No resources.
We need
better resources.
Yeah, resources are getting slashed.
So
slashed
every year. The budget just goes. Where's the budget gone?
Department budget. Because this is the sly things that they do, bruv, right? They'll say to you, right, we'll give you a pay increase of 1%, but we'll take it out of your department budget. So really and truly, you're not giving anybody an increase. You're just shifting money from side to side.
It's just offsetting in their own balance sheets.
Exactly, right? So there is no pay increase. There is no money coming in, right? It's not just about the money, right? It's the understanding that things need to be on a level of fair trade. On a level of fair trade, the working conditions, the resources,
that's right.
Like even things down to the policies of the schools. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? The quality of the teachers training, right? The quality of teachers that are trained coming into schools, like the quality there is so much to unpack here.
Exactly.
It's not just striking over pay.
No, it's not at all. There's so much. There's so much, like it's so much. We might have to need to do a part 2 on this one.
Oh, definitely.
Honestly, this is big. This is big. But I
Yeah.
think we touched on a few good points though.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Guys, thank you for that. This one was like really like serious, but I think we're going to do a part 2 for real
Definitely.
because this one's big. But guys, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Guys, as usual, and thank you to Part RS.
I know.
As usual, and AB.
There you go.
Guys, I'll see you on the next one.
Blessed.